welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my home. Today we're making
donuts!
That's right, today we're making Boston Cream Doughnuts. Today we have two very special guests. My beautiful niece is visiting me from the UAE, Alia and Sama. And of course my own daughter Nini. So a while ago I posted on my Facebook page a picture of the Boston Cream Donut. That was like 3 months ago. And when Sama came, she said, so when are you going to make the Boston Cream Donuts? And so she's totally right. She reminded me that I have to make a video of the Boston Cream Donuts, and they're going to help me make it. So let's get started with the ingredients. But before I start, I just want to tell you that Boston Cream Donuts are really simple to make, but they do require a couple of steps. So you would need like half a day to make them, but when you finish, the end result, when you look at your donut, it is so totally worth it. Right, girls?
Right.
Okay, so let's get started. The ingredients you need to make the donuts are some flour, some yeast, sugar, butter, eggs, a little bit of salt, and some warm milk. To make the custard filling, you need some milk, egg yolks, some cornstarch, sugar, and some vanilla. To make the chocolate glaze, you need some semi-sweet chocolate. You can also use milk chocolate or dark chocolate. You can use chocolate chips too, some butter, and some heavy cream. To start off, I'm going to add my salt to the flour and lightly mix it and set it aside. Next is to activate the yeast in the milk. It's important that the milk is warm, and that means that it should be slightly above room temperature. So I'd say about 35-36 degrees Celsius or approximately 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's between room temperature and lukewarm. So in the warm milk, I'm going to add the yeast and the sugar and mix it well. And now set it aside for approximately 10 minutes at room temperature to allow the yeast to foam up. Can you see the yeast mixture now? It's super puffy and foamy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it aside just for a second. And in the largest bowl that you have, place the melted butter and the eggs. And whisk them, and to them add your yeast milk mixture. Make sure to get all the sugar in the bottom of the bowl and continue whisking. And then gradually add the flour bit by bit. And by the way, you could definitely do this in your, if you have a standing mixer, you can definitely use the dough hook attachment to mix your dough together. Just like you would, make a pizza dough, for example. Okay, at this point, it's kind of hard to use the whisk, so switch to a wooden spoon. And when the dough gets really dry and almost, impossible to mix with a wooden spoon, just use your hand and knead it just like you would, a pizza dough. If you find that your dough is too sticky and just not coming together, add a little bit of flour, just a little bit at a time, like that, until it comes together. Okay, so my dough is ready. As you can see, it's smooth and it's manageable. See, I can, work with it easily. It's not sticking that much to my fingers anymore, so it's perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bowl, a clean bowl, and I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to the bottom and just spread it around. And place my dough in the bowl and turn it to coat both sides of the dough. And now I'm going to cover the dough with some plastic wrap. And now we have to let the dough rest for a couple of hours until it doubles in size. And that could take, depending on the temperature in your kitchen, it could take 1 hour to 3 hours. To make sure that I keep this in the warmest place in my kitchen, I like to keep it in my oven, which is turned off, of course, to make sure that there's no air that goes in there. So this is, I think, the best place to place your dough. So I'll be back in about 1 or 2 hours until the dough doubles in size. So about an hour later, this is what my dough looks like. As you can see, it has doubled, if not more, in size. So what you're going to do is you're going to sprinkle your counter with some flour. And then you're going to place your dough and flatten it with a rolling pin. And you're going to flatten it to about 1 centimeter thick. And then you're going to take a round cookie cutter or biscuit cutter, which has a diameter of 4 inches. And you're going to cut the dough in circles. And now you're going to take a large flat tray or a flat dish, which I have covered with a piece of wax paper, and you're going to sprinkle that with a generous amount of flour. And then carefully scoop the dough and place it on the flat tray, like that. And keep a little space between each circle, because what's going to happen now is we're going to let it rest and it's going to puff up, it's going to expand. So make sure that you leave a good space between each circle. And then with the leftover dough, you can definitely use that to make more dough circles or make more donuts. So I've regrouped them together and I'm going to roll them. But mind you, because these ones, we worked the dough a little bit more, they're not going to be as puffy as the first batch because we kind of worked them. So what you can do is you can, to make sure that they're going to rise, you can leave them to rest longer than the first batch. Now, the next step is crucial. You absolutely cannot skip this step. What you have to do now is you're going to let this dough rest for another hour at least, and you're going to allow it to rise. What's going to happen is that if you fry it right now, your dough is flat and your donuts will be very dense in texture if you don't let them rest. But if you let them rest, your dough will rise and it's going to puff up, and when you fry them you make sure that they're going to be very airy and fluffy and light in texture. So definitely you have to let them rest at this stage. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosely cover them with a piece of plastic wrap, very loosely. I'm not going to press on them, just like that, and just place them in a warm place for an hour until they rise and they double in size again. So 1 hour later, this is what my donuts look like. Do you see how they have inflated and how they have doubled in volume? So now I'm going to carefully remove the plastic wrap, and do not press on them, do not deflate them. You want to keep them like that. And now we're going to the stove to fry them. So now we're going to fry the donuts. You're going to place about 1 inch, at least 1 inch deep of frying oil, like corn oil or any kind of vegetable oil. And you're going to heat it up to 180 degrees Celsius approximately. If you have a candy thermometer like I do here, then use that. If not, just heat it over medium heat. You don't want the oil to be too hot, otherwise your donuts will burn on the outside and not be cooked on the inside. And if the oil is too cold, then they will just absorb a lot of oil and not cook properly. So if you don't have a candy thermometer, just heat the oil for about 5 minutes on medium heat. And when your oil is hot, you're going to take the donut, carefully scoop it. This is why it was very important to generously flour the tray you place them on. And now place your donut carefully, without burning yourself, in the pan. And fry it for 1 minute on each side. Now these will fry fairly quickly, so you have to be careful. So after about a minute, you will turn and fry them on the other side, carefully, like that. So you see the color, it's beautifully golden, and that's the color you want. The temperature of the oil is perfect. So just fry the other side for 1 minute. And when the other side becomes golden, just carefully remove it and place it on a dish over paper towels. Okay, now up close. and after about a minute, you fry the other side. Now the other side is ready. So now their donuts are ready to be filled. Now at this point, if you don't want to do the filling right away, you can definitely do it the next day if you wish. But if you do, make sure that you wrap them in a plastic bag or any kind of airtight container so that they don't dry out. And you can store them at room temperature until we do the filling. So after the donuts cool down completely, now I can fill them. And to do that, I'm going to create a pocket inside the donut. Basically, I'm going to make a hole in one end, and then I'm going to cut through the inside of the donut to be able to fill it with the custard filling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small butter knife, and I'm going to insert it in the side of the donut gently. Don't go all the way to the end. You don't want your knife to reach the other side. So just create a pocket by moving the knife to the left and to the right. You see, this is where I will fill my donut. Okay. And now I'm going to make the custard filling. In a medium saucepan, I will add the sugar, the corn flour, and the egg yolks. And by the way, at this point, I didn't turn on the heat. And now I'm going to whisk it until I get a smooth paste, until the starch disappears and the sugar starts to dissolve. And when the paste becomes smooth, I'm going to start adding the cold milk. And at this point, I'm going to turn on the heat to low to medium. As you're pouring the milk, you have to stir at the same time so that no lumps are formed. And just keep whisking the whole time until the mixture comes to a boil and begins to thicken. When the mixture begins to boil, add the vanilla and stir for a couple of seconds. See, now it became very thick. And just stir for about 30 seconds. And remove from heat. See? So, if you're not going to use your custard right away, you can transfer it into a bowl and place a piece of plastic wrap, and the plastic wrap has to touch the surface, and that way it won't form a skin. Like so. And when it cools down, you can place it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. So now I'm going to fill them with the custard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my custard in a piping bag with a tip, a round tip. And then you will take the donut and find the hole and place the tip a little bit halfway inside the donut and just press gently to fill it with the custard. And as you're pressing, you're going to feel the donut filling up. And when you start seeing that the filling comes out from the hole, it means that your donut is full. See? Like that. Okay? Now to make the chocolate glaze, place the 3 ingredients in a small saucepan over medium heat. So I have placed the chocolate, the butter, and the heavy cream, and just stir them slowly until they are combined and they melt together. So this is perfect. The chocolate has just melted. You don't want to cook it, you just want to melt the chocolate basically. So as soon as the mixture becomes, smooth, just turn off the heat and set it aside until you're ready to use it. So here's my chocolate, which has not cooled down yet, so it's still liquid. So the best thing to do, what I do at least, is I take the donut with my hand and I hold it like that and I just dip it in the chocolate glaze. I think this is just the easiest part. You can also pour the chocolate on top, but this is much easier and it's going to give you an even coat. Okay? that. And once you cover them with the chocolate, let the chocolate set for about 10 to 15 minutes until it becomes, until it doesn't drip anymore basically. And then you can eat them. So now we're ready to eat the donuts. Just before we taste them, I just want to tell you that if you're not going to eat them right away, you need to store them in the fridge because of the custard filling. Because it has eggs and milk, you cannot store it. You cannot keep it at room temperature for a long time. So you'd have to store it in the fridge. Okay? So we're ready to eat now. Girls, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On 3, we take a bite. We all take a bite on 3?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
And we only need 3 and
Mmm. Again. Okay?
Yummy.
Mmm.
Yummy.
Alia, what do you think?
Yummy.
Sama?
Good.
Mmm. Nini, is it good?
Yeah.
It is so good when you, especially when you go towards the center and you bite into the custard. It's like, with the chocolate.
No, it's very yummy.
Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you make it because it's so good. It does require a few steps like I said, but it's so totally worth it. As you can see here from my tasters. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs up, girls.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
And subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.